Number 34, the center fielder, Kirby Puckett.
He was something special from the first day he arrived in Minnesota.
They told me, after, my first game, they told me just to play how I usually play and let things take care of themselves, and that's how I've been playing, like I've always played.
From the first time he made a spectacular catch.
Puckett at the wall, leaps, and made the catch! Puckett.
From the first time he flashed that unforgettable smile. Over 12 seasons, Kirby Puckett gave Minnesota a lot to smile about.
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
2 world championships and a montage of memorable moments. Over 12 seasons, Kirby Puckett simply became the most beloved athlete in Minnesota history.
I'll be here, but I just won't be putting this on anymore. It's the last time you'll see Kirby Puckett in a Minnesota Twins uniform.
Glaucoma stopped his baseball career, but the love for Kirby Puckett will go on forever in Minnesota. Number 34 will always be number 1 in the hearts of Twins fans. And tonight, it's the number 1 subject on a special Kirby edition of Sports Wrap. Hello everyone, I'm Joe Schmidt. It was Kirby Puckett weekend at the Metrodome, and tonight it's Kirby Puckett night on Sports Rep. We have a lot of Kirby specials on the old menu for you tonight. Our live guest in studio will be former Twin Gene Larkin, teammate of Kirby's back in the 87 and 91 championship teams. Patrick Royce, who covered the Twins for years, was at tonight's big show, and also Eric Gisselson goes one-on-one with the always candid Kirby, and a special sights and sounds look at the emotional retirement of Kirby's jersey. We start with the big night itself. Tonight, the number 34 became permanently etched into the history of the Minnesota Twins. Kirby Puckett's jersey was retired in a special ceremony at the Dome. He is the 5th Twins player to have that honor, joining Rod Carew, Tony Oliva, Harmon Killebrew, and Kent Herbeck. Many of Kirby's old teammates were on hand for the big night. It was also an emotional night for the fans who crowded into the Metrodome to honor their hero, Kirby Puckett. Tonight, photojournalist Mark Garvey shows us what the fans had to say about number 34.
Day 3 of Kirby Puckett weekend. The Twins will be retiring Kirby Puckett's number 34 in a special pregame ceremony beginning at 5 p.m.
He's great with the kids. He loves it. You can tell he's having fun. And I like a player that's like that. He has always had time with the fans.
32, come on, break 35. 37, come on, break 40. It's about the fans. That's what everything should be about.
Here you go, one more.
A lot of kids here to see Kirby, that's for sure. That was a Game 6 of 91 swing. People from all over the place in here today wearing their Kirby shirts. They can retire his number, but there's a lot of people wearing it out here today. There's going to be a lot of 34s for a long time.
I remember when I graduated, Herbeck was just getting going too, and now he's retired, and Kirby's retiring. And years have gone fast.
Come in to see Kirby, huh?
Love them, that's why we're here.
Coming early so they don't miss anything. Hi, 7, please. They come from all over, even the Dakotas. Everybody likes them. Everybody that comes here likes him.
Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett!
This is the day we've all been waiting for. Everyone's going to miss him dearly, I'm sure.
He's a great guy. I think he did a great job for all of us as fans for the team.
His attitude, the way he played the game hard, but he had fun. You could tell he was having fun out there.
How you doing?
Good.
All set to have a good time?
Yep.
Good.
Because he's a really good role model for kids. I think it's really neat to be here on this kind of day because I think Kirby's really amazing.
Ready? 1, 2, 3,
Later in the show, find out what Kirby Puckett has to say about the fans and his special career with the Minnesota Twins. Joining us on the show is a former teammate of the Pucks, Gene Larkin. Gino, you got to feel like about the luckiest man in the world. You got 2 World Series rings and you played with Kirby Puckett. A lot to brag about.
Well, because of the Kirby Puckett, I did get 2 World Series rings. He was definitely the biggest influence on our team in both '87 and '91. And tonight was a very special night for me. It wasn't as emotional night as last year because I figured Puck, by some miracle, was going to come back last year and play with the Twins. Now I've accepted the fact that he's not going to come back and he's more of a front office type guy. But he's made a great transition to the front office, so it's easy for me to accept that he's not playing anymore.
Talk about the ceremony itself tonight. It was kind of interesting. Afterwards, Ken Herbeck said just kind of being around Kirby and being at the ballpark made him want to suit up and play.
Yeah, the enthusiasm definitely comes from Kirby Puckett. That's why we were so successful in '87, '91. You walked into the clubhouse, whether it's a winning streak or a losing streak, he had the big smile on the face, riled guys up in the clubhouse, and guys prepared to play. And that's definitely something that the Minnesota Twins are going to miss.
There he's with Ron Washington right there. He talked about Ron Washington being his first roommate, and Ron kind of taught him how to be a professional.
You know, it was a typical Kirby statement, very humble. He would try to take some of the acclaim away from himself and the guys, his teammates. Ron Washington, who started him as a roommate. So he took the attitude away from him and toward his teammates who made him successful.
How did Kirby change from when you first knew him, struggling to get up, to becoming the superstar?
About 30 pounds. He really didn't change. I was probably the 25th guy on that '87 team, and I got called up because of an injury, and he accepted me and made me feel like I was part of the team from the get-go. And I only basically was a pinch hitter, but he made me seem like I was one of the best on the team.
You talked about it a little bit, but talk about that smile, that personality, that clubhouse demeanor, and how Kirby felt, the Twins felt.
Well, like I said, whether we were winning or losing, he always prepared himself like it was just another ball game. And it took a lot of pressure of the other 24 guys on the team. Yeah, Puck, yeah, Herbeck, and Frank Vola, Bert Blythe in '87. But the guy that made the team run was Kirby Puckett. When he was going well, we won more consistently.
One of those rare athletes who made everybody around him a little bit better.
Oh, there's no question about it. And now that he's made that transition to the front office, I think he's going to make the front office a little bit better too, and more enthusiastic, and they want to come to their jobs and do a good job.
When your kids ask you someday about what it was like to play with Kirby Puckett, what are you going to tell them?
Well, I think I played for the Kirby Pucketts. It wasn't the Minnesota Twins, it's the Kirby Pucketts. And I took both my kids to the game today to see the ceremony, and that's a memory they're going to cherish as well.
All right. Well, the current Minnesota Twins could definitely use guys like Kirby Puckett and Gene Larkin. They are struggling big time. The Twins started pitching this year has been horrible, and their closer Rick Aguilar has been struggling. He's blown a number of saves, including tonight. Meanwhile, the Twins' hitting has been inconsistent at best. Paul Mulder and Ron Coomer are the only players who are batting over 300. They did win tonight. They're now 20-28, 6 games out of first place in the Central Division. Gino, I expected more out of the Twins this year.
Well, I did too, but I think early on the injuries have killed them. Tom Kelly has not been able to put a lineup that he wants on the field consistently day after day. It started with Stahoviak in the first game, and then Cordova, then Molitor went down, and Tewksbury just missed 2 starts because of an unorthodox injury. So if you get all those guys together, and maybe the offense is going to come through, put 5, 6, 7 runs on the board per game, give a little less pressure to the pitching staff, you might see a better turnaround in the second half.
What is your feeling on TK? There have been some rumors where he might be ready to retire, he might be ready to quit for a couple of years, he might even be ready to move on. What's your feeling? You know him.
I don't know him real well off the field. I don't know what he's thinking right now. I guess he's struggled the first part of this year. Things haven't been going too well, but again, I still think he's one of the 2 or top 3 managers in the game, and it would be very sad to see TK leave Minnesota.
I tell you what, Gino, we got you on the show. We can't go without showing the hit. We got to show the hit, Gino.
You wait till October to show that normally.
I know, we normally do, but I mean, I don't think we can have you on the show without showing the hit. You don't even have to say anything about it. We just wanted to show it. There it goes. Do you remember that hit?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think you probably do. Gina, it was a pleasure. Appreciate you stopping by, and we'll be seeing you out at the golf course this year.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Up next, Patrick Royce joins to talk more about Kirby Puckett. Plus, Eric Gisselson sits down with Kirby's jersey was the grand finale, but there were plenty of other highlights from Kirby's special weekend at the Dome. On Friday night, Jackie Robinson's number 42 was retired. Rachel Robinson, Jackie's widow, was on hand for the ceremony with Kirby. Then last night, the seat where Kirby's famous World Series game-winning home run landed was retired forever. And Kirby Puckett himself was out before the game handing out some of those 15,000 cards he personally signed. Back with us to talk about Kirby is a guy who signs 15,000 autographs every day at the State Fair. Whenever you make that public appearance, Pat Royce.
15 might be the proper
15 might be. Once-in-a-lifetime athlete.
Yeah, really, he's everything's been said. You know, I think the #1 tribute to him this weekend was, and it was mentioned earlier, is the number of kids who were in the ballpark this weekend. Kids have been missing from the ballpark for a couple of years, and tonight I was looking around there, and even in the expensive seats there were kids. They had 37,000 tonight. I bet they had 15,000 kids in the ballpark. And what I mean, 15 and under. It was amazing the appeal this guy had. I remember once going out to right field on a kids' day, not whole day or whatever they were calling it. This is 86, maybe 87, and doing a column on who every kid's favorite ball player was. There were like 183 votes for Kirby and 1 for Herbeck or something like that. I mean, it's amazing, his appeal to children, and you see the eye right now, and it really makes you sad. But then and his attitude about it's so good, you kind of say, well, it was fun while it lasted.
You covered all 12 years of Kirby. When did you realize that we really had something special here? Maybe not only as an athlete, but just as a person people would love.
Well, as an athlete, it was 86 when suddenly his home run total went from 4 to 34. But I think it took a couple, 3 years, because he was real quiet when he's a skinny kid here. He was real quiet, and you never knew when he was going to come out of that shell. So I would say maybe about that same year you saw that this personality was amazing. But to me, the most amazing thing about him always has been the first 5 minutes when he walks in the clubhouse, if you happen to be in there. I've mentioned this before, but if I happen to be there early interviewing someone, and if you had your back turned to the door, and suddenly there was an eruption of sound, you knew that Puckett had arrived, and the needling had started, and the chaos had started. And boy, you go in that clubhouse now, and it's dead. There's no spunk in there anymore, and they really miss him because of that.
Yeah, he certainly did. You said, I think one of your columns said one of your favorite moments of Kirby was the aviator hat in the 87 parade. We've got the video. Greatest. We just wanted to show you.
That is the greatest. He said some guy offered him like $10,000 for it, and he wouldn't sell it to him. Him right there, that to me, I think that's sealed him as the great character in Minnesota sports. I don't know which paper it was, but one of them had the front page picture of him with the hat on. What a hat. I mean, what a stroke of accidental genius that he wore the hat that day. He just grabbed something. He knew he needed a hat, and he ended up with that thing.
Well, July 12, 1996 will go down as one of the darkest days in Minnesota Twins history. It was on that day 10 months ago when Kirby Puckett had to quit baseball because of glaucoma. But as Eric Gisselson tells us tonight, his playing days are over, but life goes on for Kirby in classic Kirby style.
Number 34, Kirby!
How does one begin to remember the magical moments?
Center and chased by Puckett. He caught it! The arm motion. Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
How can one man have touched Minnesota more?
I'll be here, but I just won't be putting this on anymore. It's the last time you'll see Kirby Puckett in a Minnesota Twins uniform.
How could a wide-eyed kid from the south side of Chicago evolve into a sports superstar for the ages?
I want to let the world know that I played in front of the best fans in the whole entire world. Thank you very much. I love you.
Kirby Puckett did it all with ease, but it did not come without hustle, determination, and a pride to do it with inimitable style and candidness.
I got to live a fantasy life, Gis, for 12 years, man, Not only did ever since I was 5 years old, I wanted to play this game of baseball. not only did I get a chance to play, I played good. I was a good player. And I enjoyed every minute of it. And I think that's what I'm most proud of. I think I'm the only player that might not have ever got booed, that played for the Twins. You know, that's a tall thing these days. And you know, I know that I didn't always do good, but it wasn't because I wasn't trying to do my best. Oh man, it's great, Guess. I mean, and people look at me and they go, "There's no way. You love the game so much. There's no way you don't miss the game." And I say, I'm telling you right now to your face that it's not the game that I miss. It's just the camaraderie in the clubhouse, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you're able to see. But the normal person that comes to a game, he never sees us in the clubhouse and me instigating and acting crazy and doing things in the clubhouse that people don't see. That's what I miss. The way that I look at my life and keeps me going is that I could be a lot worse. I could be terminally ill right now, dying of cancer or whatever it is. I mean, there could be so many things that could be happening to me right now. I lost one eye. I mean, I think if you think ask anybody over the course of their whole lives, the negative things that have happened, the bad things that have happened, I've had so many good things that I just can't let one thing that was unfortunate just take over my whole life and just sit at home and go, why me? Why me? I don't say that. I believe that in life, things happen. I think that if you take baseball out of Minnesota, I think it'll be a travesty. And I don't think there's anybody out here in business, like you said, that if they had the chance to go somewhere else and do something, that they wouldn't even just go just to see, if nothing else. And so I hope and I pray that everything works out. This is like the candles on the cake now. I've already had the cake and there's been icing on it with the salute and everything else that has happened to me in my career here in Minnesota. So the candles are lit right now, and I have to blow them out on Sunday night, Guess. So for me, this will be the final chapter in the book as far as baseball is concerned. And I'm looking forward to it being over because I think that the guys that are playing these days for the Twins have to identify with me, and I don't think that's fair to them.
Number 34, Kirby Puckett!
And a guy like Kirby does only come along once in a lifetime. More with Patrick in a moment. Stay with us. Despite a massive campaign by Kirby Puckett and the Twins, the current legislative session ended with no real movement on the stadium issue, leaving team owners saying they are ready to move. Carl Pohlad sent a letter to legislative leaders saying that he is extremely pessimistic about the future of the prospects of Major League Baseball in Minnesota. The Twins also said they will ask Major League Baseball for permission to explore options outside of Minnesota. Now, the Twins can get out of their lease after the 1998 season. And Patrick, I think I was more surprised at how big a deal the media made out of this than the letter itself, because that was the next step for Carl Pohlad.
Oh, sure. And now the next step is there's going to be a little press conference Tuesday at the Dome where they're going to reiterate what they said in this letter. Then there's a Major League Baseball meeting June 11th and 12th or something like that in Philly where they're going to get permission to explore their options. And that's, you know, it's all going to be structured from now on. And then in October, they'll exercise their escape clause, and then things will get serious. And I think what's going to happen is you might say, Carl might say, we have a deal that we will execute on February 1st, 1998 to do this or that. And I think the legislature will have a month next January to decide what they want to do. And if they don't go get the gambling money that's sitting there like a big fruit pie, there's never going to be a ballpark, and there's a good chance it'll be gone because this guy's got the kind of money that he doesn't have to worry about PR.
Headline in the paper tomorrow has got to be Tiger is human.
Tiger doesn't win. I knew he was a fraud all along.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Done. His career's over.
It's funny. He got misclubbed about 8 times. He never felt like he played worth a diddly all weekend. He was mad all weekend, and he almost won it. He's on the 16th tee. He's still tied for the lead. It's amazing, but he hit a lot of bad shots today.
Yeah, he did.
I got to see quite a bit of him, and he
flew a lot of greens.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Fluff the caddy's in trouble or what, but boy, he 2 in a row there that took him out of the tournament. 16 and 17, he flew the green, and It's too bad. What, he end up finishing a lousy third, right?
Lousy third. Only picked up about 50 grand this week.
Yes, sir.
All right,
He'll be
Patrick.
mad next week. Look out.
We are back in a moment with a final word or two. Stay tuned.
Well hit. Way back. Oh, touch them all, Kirby Puckett. What a game. 6 for 6. And he has 10 hits in his last 11 bats. Phenomenal.
Oh, what a weekend in Milwaukee. The one and only Kirby Puckett. For our parting shot tonight, a shot heard throughout the family. Earlier this week, Trent Clyde of the Flyers leveled Ken Jernander of the Rangers with this big check. These two guys are both from Minnesota, both former Gophers. They also happen to be brothers-in-law, married to twin sisters. Jernander was okay, and Klatt went on to score the go-ahead goal in the game. Today, the Flyers eliminated the Rangers from the playoffs. They'll talk about that one for years to come. And that'll wrap things up on this special Kirby edition of Sports Wrap. Thanks for watching. Good night. Well, that's a wrap.